Hey everyone. So I thought it would be important for me to actually make a video during this time. We have been at home for over a month now in 2020 during the coronavirus pandemic, and I know my grandbabies will not remember this. So I said, hey, I need to make a little video. So this one, of course, is not going to be a funny video, but hopefully it'll be a blessing to you. My mom was always, at the end of her life, was having to stay at home. And every once in a while, she would just say, hey, let's just go on a drive, or let's go get an ice cream cone or something, just real simple. But she wanted to do that. Well, now that I've been sitting at home, I know the reason why. It's just tough being at home. And you just want to get out and do some things and stuff, especially like today. It's just so beautiful outside. It's just like, oh, I wish I could go somewhere and do something. And so my mom, being stuck at home all the time, I thought she would like to go on a little outing. Our Sunday school class at our church goes on this outing where we go to Mountain View from Batesville. We drive from Batesville to Mountain View, looking at the trees as they turn in the fall, and then we eat catfish as a group and then come back home. Well, I had decided that I would take my mom so that she could go on this little outing and just get out. And so we start from her house, and we're going to go back through Cave City and back through Sydney and that way to go to Mountain View. And we're looking at trees and stuff, and we see the red trees, we see the yellow trees, orange trees. I mean, it's just so beautiful. And we are blessed here in Arkansas for that. But my mom, all of a sudden, she just profoundly says, look at that brown tree, how pretty that is. And I just sort of look over at her and like, she has done lost her mind. And so we drive a little bit more on our way to Mountain View, and then she says it again, well, look at that pretty brown tree. And so by that time, I'm just sort of almost ignoring her a little bit. And then we get to our destination, we eat our food, and we start on our way back home. And she continues to talk about them daggone brown trees. And I'm just like, what is she talking about? So then I get her home, and I get home, and I start to thinking about it. And I'm going to try not to cry. And I start to thinking about it, and my mom was actually seeing the beauty, not just in the things that were beautiful, but in the things that sometimes are not beautiful. So during this pandemic, there's been some things that's not been so beautiful, to be honest, right? But God convicted me of that and said, I want you to find the beauty in something that's not so good at this time. So I started to think about it. If I would have been at work full time, I would have never been able to keep my grandbabies a couple of days a week to help out my daughter, who's an essential worker in healthcare. And so I've got to enjoy that beauty. And sometimes it's hard keeping babies. I'll be honest, even my own grandbabies, sometimes they'll just drive you crazy. I got one who, she's just a klutz. She falls all the time, bonking her head, dropping things all the time. And I'm just like, Lakin, I says, you just so clumsy. And, but anyway, and then Jordan, she's getting to the age where she's got a little bit of a sassy mouth on her, and wants to push the buttons and stuff. But God has truly allowed me time to bond with them. Another blessing is missing my church family. Just standing next to a person and getting to worship with them. And sometimes God allows us to go through things so that we can find the blessings in them. Just like my mom found the blessings and the beauty in those brown trees. And God He's not up there looking to punish us. Maybe He allowed us to go through this so that we could find the blessings in our life. I have some family members who tested positive. And so the other day, when I was texting one of them, I said, let's look at the blessing. They haven't been very sick. They had, some slight signs and symptoms, but we are truly blessed that it wasn't any worse than it was. So today, let me read you a verse before I go. It's Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." And in my margins it says, hope in your latter end. God does give us hope. This will pass. But let us never forget about trying to find those blessings during times of trial. Because there's always a blessing. And there's always things that we can do, even during our trials, to point to Him. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you later.